of the decision to fire Joe Paterno. ABC News senior national correspondent Jim Avila and Sports Illustrated legal analyst Michael McCann have both covered this story from the start, and they're here to give us an update on the key players at the center of the case. Jim, 10 victims were in the grand jury report. Potentially dozens more have come forward. Do we have any idea how many victims Jerry Sandusky abused?
We don't. The experts say that from every victim that's discovered, there's many more that don't come forward who are never found. I was there when all the 10 victims were in that courtroom. It was a moving situation. There were lawyers there who were in fact seeking other victims, and I'm sure that other victims have in fact come forward.
How are the victims doing today?
Their lawyers say today that they're still not doing well. That they still have to have counseling, and that, of course, counseling is being paid for by Penn State. So they're having a tough time, as you might imagine.
As Sue mentioned, Jerry Sandusky had 6 adopted kids and foster kids going in and out of his house. What happened to all those children?
Well, one child did, in fact, make accusations during the middle of the trial that Jerry Sandusky had abused him. Interestingly enough, that child, Matt Sandusky, at the beginning of the trial was sitting right there with Dottie Sandusky supporting him.
Michael, has the federal government investigated this at all?
Yeah, it has, Katie. The Clery Act is a federal law that requires the disclosure of on-campus crimes. And if the Free Report is correct, and of course today we've talked much about the Free Report and some questions about it, but if it is correct, then it would appear that Penn State violated the Clery Act. And if it did, fines could be assessed in the millions of dollars, or even worse for Penn State, there could be restrictions on federal financial aid. Now, Penn State reportedly has an endowment in the ballpark of $1.8 billion, so it should be okay. But the sanctions could be very significant.
What about the other key players in this, the former president, vice president, and athletic director of Penn State?
That's right. Those 3 administrators are in some trouble. They've been charged with an alleged cover-up and with committing perjury. However, they're going to argue that they satisfied their duties of reporting, and they're also going to say that there was some ambiguity in the facts.
Joe Paterno was not charged with anything. It was determined he should not face any kind of charges. Is that right?
It appears that he satisfied his duties. Now, maybe he would have been sued civilly, but I think in terms of criminal law, it appears that his actions were consistent with the law.
All right, Michael McCann and Jim Avila, gentlemen, thank you both so much. And we'll be back with some final thoughts right after this.